Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the board's business meeting. We have a lot to cover today, but we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I apologize for being a little late here, but we just had a study session regarding the roads, which you will be hearing a lot more of in the future. I'd start with additions and deletions. Mr. Nadeau?
Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to add an action item to accept an award on fences at Centennial Farm.
Do I have a support?
Support?
Okay.
This was added, it was just approved last week on the 17th by the Community Recreation Commission, and in order to hold the price that we selected, materials should be ordered as soon as possible to hold the price that we had.
Time is of the essence.
Yes, it is.
Okay, very good. Any questions on that? So, new fences or fixed fences at Centennial Farm.
And this will be added as action item number 7.
Number 7. Without any other comment on it, all in favor of adding action item number 7, Centennial Farm fences, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None. That will be added as action item number 7. Right. If I could have a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'd like to move to support the the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The amended agenda is approved. Before we move on to public comment, I'd like to have the police chief and our new dispatcher, please come on. Go ahead, Doug.
Hello. So today was our new clerk dispatcher, Lane White's first day. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to the board and to the community. A little brief about her. She grew up in Trenton, so she's from downriver. She currently lives on Grosse with her family and her extended family, which some of them are behind us right now. So she has some contacts within the community. She did the 2 interview process that we do for the dispatchers, the background, went through the whole process of the psych and med exams. So just wanted to introduce her as one of our newest employees at Township starting today. So her first day with the board, with the Township. So
We appreciate that, Doug. Hopefully, most of the residents won't get to see her much. They won't have to be down at public safety, but welcome.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to working with this department.
Well, we thought it was important to get to meet you and eventually the other dispatchers. You are sometimes the first voice a resident hears in a dangerous or scary moment. And it's nice to put a friendly face to that voice. And when Chief Carmack came up with the idea, I thought that's a perfect idea. So welcome aboard.
thank you.
We have no presentations. Public comment, 3 minutes on agenda items only. State your name and address where you live. Do we have anybody? Can you see around that?
Nobody.
No one?
Oh, Kathy
Well-
Walker.
Oh,
Well, you wait long enough.
yeah.
Kathy Walker.
See, I still have trouble seeing her back
I
there.
know,
We're gonna get
way
rid
back
of the podium. Yeah. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
26051 Thorpe Court. I just wanted to thank you guys for doing the dump the junk. Great job. It was a lot of fun. I brought home more than I took, which is not good. But it was a nice thing, and I like knowing that you're doing it twice a year. It's nice. I mean, it gives you a reason to get rid of crap and pick up somebody else's. So it was nice. Thanks.
You're not allowed to bring any of that back, Kathy.
Yeah,
Once
Kathy,
it hits
a
the gate,
second
you're
time
done.
around, no. All right, thanks, Kathy. Anyone else? I see no, yep. Bill Heil? Bill, these are on agenda items.
The point I'd like to make about the request for realty services.
Yes,
The
please do.
These are properties that the township currently owns.
Township, not open space,
Right,
township.
Exactly, and that's my point. You've heard me speak on a number of occasions about the idea that maybe, just maybe, growing the tax base would be a good idea. And I would hate to see us take a piece of property that might have been put to some more rewarding use because we sold it because we needed money now. It builds back to the idea, I mean, when I say need it now, I believe we're tight for cash. You've heard me say that before. Financial planning into the future is one smart move, but another one is figuring out what you're going to do to build your tax base so that the burden is carried by more people. That might need an education process, just like the roads we were talking about a few minutes ago require. But I'm offering that as a thought, and I'm hoping that a bit of that thought might be taken into consideration as to the number of properties that are being put on the list, because some of them might be put to use in a way that would be more beneficial to us.
Well, hopefully, when we make that list out, that will be part of the process. So looking at what are we trying to get rid of, what can we use in the future that maybe we should hang on to.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to affirm.
Thanks, Bill. Anyone else? Nobody back there? Okay, with that, we'll end the public comment and go to consent agenda. Mr. Nadeau.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda 22-017, which consists of minutes of the May 9th, 2022 regular meeting, check registers dated through May 13th, 2022, Greenways Open Space Committee appointment, 2022 Grosse Yacht Club fireworks display, a Public Services Commission appointment, and accept the resignation of a board trustee.
Okay, any comment? Hearing none, we have a motion before us to approve consent agenda 22-017, which consists of the following: minutes of the May 9th, 2022 regular meeting, check register dated through May 13th, 2022, Greenways Open Space Committee appointment, the 2022 Grosse Yacht Club fireworks display, a Public Service Commission appointment, and to accept the resignation of a trustee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. I just want to warn the people in the audience, you're going to get bored listening to Mr. Nadeau all night tonight. It seems like it's the Dave Nadeau show on action items, but let's start that off. David, go ahead. Action item number 1.
I want to make sure Mr. Zalasko is in the audience.
I think you're interesting, Dave.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, based upon a recommendation from the Grosse DPS Commission, the Grosse Township Board hereby approves the contracting of Big Barney's for one application of calcium chloride dust control material at an expense of $11,600 to be applied in the beginning of June 2022. Furthermore, Grosse Township Public Services Commission hereby recommends to the Township Board the contracting of D&D emulsions for one application of dust bond dust suppressant at a cost of $49,815 to be applied in late June, early July.
You, history, this is a little different than the way we normally do it. So,
Yeah, in the last 2 years, we've used Big Barney's calcium chloride on the dirt roads, on the non-paved roads, and it was questionably adequate. And I think there's always been a sense that D&D was their dust bond was the prime supplier for dust control. And we wanted to do, because of the timing and in an effort to extend the life of the dust bond as long as we could, we decided to go with, the commission decided to go with 2 applications, one of the calcium chloride somewhere in the first week or 2 of June, and then somewhere probably around the first week or so in July, application of the dust bond. And it's a budgeted item, and that's our plan for this year.
I noticed that you, the budget is for 35,000.
Let's see. The budget was 35,000 from the dust control, and the balance of it we took from the road repair fund
Okay,
in
yeah.
order to complete the project
Total.
at the total price.
Yeah, I know on the history, when we had D&D emulsions do it, their proprietary solution is superior to the calcium chloride. Calcium chloride is good, but not as good. But obviously, there's been a jump in price, like on everything. And mixing the two, I think, is probably a smart, economical way to do it, and keep the dust down for the summer for the people on dirt roads. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we have a motion based upon the recommendation of the Grosse DPS Commission that the Grosse Township Board hereby approves the contracting with Big Barney's for one application of calcium chloride dust control material at an expense of $11,600 to be applied in the beginning of June 2022. Furthermore, the Grosse Township Public Service Commission hereby recommends to the Grosse Township Board the contracting of D&D emulsions for one application of dust bond dust suppressant at a cost of $49,815 to be applied in late June, early July. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You get to breathe one more year, Bob. Thank you. David.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion based upon a recommendation from the Grosse Township Public Services Commission. The Grosse Township Board hereby approves contracting with HydroCorp for the purposes of commencing the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy's required Grosse Township residential backflow prevention program.
Second?
Thank you. History?
Eric?
Eagles at it again.
Yeah.
So a backflow prevention program eliminates or helps to protect contaminated water from going into our municipal water supply. So right now, the township has a backflow prevention program on both commercial and industrial properties, which includes annual inspections of backflow prevention equipment within those type of buildings. In the case that there's a drastic drop in water pressure in our water mains, water isn't siphoned out of these buildings and into our water supply. A backflow prevention piece of equipment eliminates that ability for that water to travel back into our system, back flowing into our municipal water supply. Eagle DEQ had always had on the books the requirement to have a residential program. So obviously the risk can exist in an industrial and a commercial business, but it also can exist in our households. For those of us that have municipal water supply sprinkler systems, if you don't have a correctly operating backflow preventer on that sprinkler system, if we once again have a drop in water pressure in our water main, the water can actually be sucked out of your sprinkler lines and go into the municipal water supply. Things like that, or pools or hot tubs where you might have a hose that's in there that could be, suck the water out of your pool or hot tub. Those are the things that we want to be aware of, and also make sure that there's adequate protections to ensure that doesn't occur. So although this regulation has been on the books for quite some time, Eagle and the DEQ never really enforced it, but they have basically made it a priority over the past 5 or 6 years that municipalities, water suppliers, make sure that they institute these programs. This came up in an audit that we had about 18 months or so ago. They had asked that the township start a program to institute a backflow prevention program for residential supplies or residential homes. And they had asked us to put a plan together to start that program. Fortunately, Eagle is understanding that these are new programs. Although they might have been on the books, they're not something that the residents are necessarily accustomed to, and they're a bit intrusive as far as them being new and us asking certain things of the residents to make sure that we're in compliance. So they're allowing most communities, including Grosse Township, to phase the implementation of a residential backflow prevention program in over a 3-year period. The first step in that is to basically survey the residents to review if you do have a condition in your home that requires a backflow prevention system or backflow prevention piece of equipment. So that's what's before you this evening, is the first step in the program. That first step basically is to provide a letter or to mail a letter to all the residents within the community asking them, do you have these certain things in your home? And if so, what is the operational condition, if you are aware or not of the operational condition of a backflow system within your residence. The next step would be to actually go out and survey the community as far as on the ground surveys, visiting different homes, and also following up with those homeowners that may have not responded to the survey. The third step would be to go ahead and record what homes have backflow systems, what homes need backflow systems, and also ensure that they have an inspection conducted by a licensed plumber to make sure that that system is operational and is functioning the way that it should be. I think DPS, as well as the township, understands that this is going to be an additional burden on homeowners, so we're going to try our best to get education out as far as why this is being done and Hydro Corp does assist with that through their proposal. So they'll have an explanation as to why you're getting the survey, what the program entails, and they do a very nice job because they're very well experienced with doing this type of work. As you see, included in your packet is the communities that they serve. They're kind of the gold standard in this area as far as providing this type of service, and that's the reason it's being recommended to go with them this evening. They are a professional service, so we do have the latitude to be able to do that, to go with who we think is going to service us best, and Hydro Corp, we feel, does that. So what's before you this evening, I believe, is an expense of around $21,000, and that includes mailers to the various households to start not only with the program, but also to ensure that we're complying with the Eagle mandate. So I know that's a lot, but this is a new program, and hopefully the residents get a little bit of a feel for why we're doing this and what is in the future as far as this program is concerned.
Other questions for Derek or Dave? Yes.
Just to be clear, Derek, what they're trying to accomplish here is that the protection of the water supply, right, from any contaminants coming back in from plumbing fixtures that may not have been properly installed with the backflow protection.
Correct. That's exactly what they're doing. Yep.
And that's yeah, and that is our drinking water.
Yeah.
Your water lines, not your sewage,
Correct.
but your water lines.
Yeah.
Anything else? Seeing none, we have a motion based upon the recommendation of the Grosse Township Public Service Commission. Grosse Township Board hereby approves contracting with Hydro Corp for the purpose of commencing the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy's required Grosse Township residential backflow prevention program. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? We will get that going. Thank you, Derek and David. And David.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion based upon a recommendation by the Grosse Department of Public Services Commission that the Grosse Township Board hereby approves a proposal from Charles Raines Company for the completion of the township's water asset management plan in accordance with Rule 1606 of the Michigan Safe Drinking Water Act.
Second.
Thank you, Joe. Another unfunded mandate. Go ahead, David or Derek. Fill us in.
Well, it's the water suppliers, and that's us, within the state of Michigan are required under the legislation to complete an asset management plan for their water system. It's similar to the asset management plan required for the sanitary sewer system that we're currently working on. The township solicited a proposal from Charles Raines to complete the required work with developing the asset management plan. The proposal is attached in your packet, and let's see. The financial cost of this is a budgeted item, but again, it's report work that's required to be completed under a state mandate.
I would say, we have the sanitary sewer asset management program. They're now having the water asset management program. Quite truthfully, asset management programs will make our community much more efficient, much better for planning, and in the long run will save us money. I just wish when the state mandates these, they'd also give us money to put these together. But in the long run, they're a big help. Any questions by the board?
Question?
Yes.
Oh, so I see the bid from Raines in the back of the package. So The cost of this is going to be roughly $82,406. And if I read it correctly, they're going to start in the fall. I read that they'll start when the leaves have fallen from the trees, and I was a little confused by that. So if you can explain that.
Same question DPS actually had at their meeting. It's because some of the work involves GPSing, so it's easier to GPS and locate things when the leaves are off the trees, and they do aerial imagery and whatnot, so it's better to do it in the fall when the leaves are gone.
Gotcha. Okay.
We thought they were on summer vacation, didn't want to, yeah.
Yeah, the reason this isn't, even though some of the work is gonna be done in the fall, a lot of the work is gonna be done in the fall, the state would like to see the contract let, that they're in the process of moving forward, and the work has been scheduled, so.
Other questions, comments? No. I'm sorry, Bill. No, it's for the board.
Can he make a statement
No.
as chair of the DPS?
No.
No.
Board, any other? Okay, so we have a motion based upon the recommendation by the Grosse Department of Public Services Commission that the Grosse Township Board hereby approve a proposal from Charles Raines Company for the completion of the township's water asset management plan in accordance with Rule 1606 of the Michigan Safe Drinking Water Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, this passes. Thank you. Bill, you're more than welcome to come up at public comment, or come up now. Come up now, Bill. You're up. I don't want you down and up.
Sorry I didn't make the protocol, but I just wanted to mention, I happened to talk to Bill Heil earlier today about some projects, and I think it's worth mentioning on this. It sounds like a lot of money for this asset management plan. You know, every 10 years we're required to do a water reliability study. Part of that is they test the pressure at every hydrant, between hydrants. That involves all of our fire insurance ratings as well. But just to recall, people have said to me in the past, what are you doing about water main? Bill asked that question. And if you remember, 4 years ago, we completed the 12-inch on East River Road so that we had a complete 12-inch line. That was at the recommendation of the fire chief. 3 years ago, we completed, that was $1.5 million project. 3 years ago, we completed the West River Road segment of that 12-inch main. So now we have a 12-inch main all around the edge of the township. And then this past summer, we had a $4 million water main project on Meridian, replacing a 16-inch pipe, one of our worst pipes in terms of breakage, where we had a number of, between Parkway and Church Road, probably 20 water main breaks over the last 10 years. And then Derek has now put in an application to this money that the state has, this excess money, for a water main that we did not have the money to complete. I put in an application for a grant for a section of, on Meridian, the other side of Bridge, north of Bridge, up by Voight, to get rid of that section. So this asset management plan does do a study. What do we need to replace next? It's very important. I just wanted to mention that. So we've been doing a lot, and as long as the money holds out. So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, and that's a good point, that there is money where we are feverishly looking at these different programs, infrastructure, and trying to get, I think I passed on 2 things today where there's money that is out there for what we need to do, lead water lines and other water things, and we pass them on and try and put our application in and see what we can get. So we're certainly trying to save our taxpayers money by doing it that way. For those of you who don't know Bill Kostick, Bill is the chair of the DPS Commission. That's why I wanted him to come up. He's got a lot of good information. Thank you, Bill. All right. David? Again.
Thank you. Based upon a recommendation from the Grosse Department of Public Services Commission, the Grosse Township Board hereby authorizes the purchase of equipment to rebuild one primary clarifier at the Grosse wastewater treatment plant via the sole source purchase provision and to commence the process to bid the installation of this equipment. Cost for the purchase of equipment shall not exceed $159,800, which has been budgeted.
Second?
Thank you, Joe. Background.
This is the last of the primary clarifiers at the wastewater treatment plant that needs to be replaced, and it's part of the wastewater treatment plan scheduled for fiscal year 22-23. You may recall that last year the other two clarifiers were rebuilt as part of that capital improvement schedule. And the last time we did a direct purchase of the equipment and then arranged and we'll put out for bid the actual installation of that. It was a cost-saving measure to do the direct purchase and use the same method that we used in 2021.
What do these clarifiers do, David?
Public words or my private words?
So people can understand. You choose.
They are the first step in processing solid waste sewage that runs from residents' homes that has to be processed prior to being taken to the dumping sites. This is the first step and it's the most important in the steps of that process.
Thank you.
It's the most fragrant.
Yes, yeah. You want that done and out of the way. Other questions or comments? Not seeing any. We have a motion based upon the recommendation of the Grosse Department of Public Services Commission that the Grosse Township Board hereby authorize the purchase of equipment to rebuild one primary clarifier at the Grosse wastewater treatment plant via the sole source purchase provisions and to commence the process to bid the installation of this equipment. Cost of the purchase of the equipment shall not exceed $159,800. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Our clarifiers will be in good position.
Mr. Supervisor, I would just like to say, these are the unsung heroes of our township on many levels, too. There are a lot of jobs in a community that we take for granted, like the people picking up our garbage and the people that are working with our solid waste management. This is not a pleasant job per se. If you've ever had a tour of the plant, it's a unique environment, but we are very fortunate that we have professionals that do this work and do it very well and keep our community safe and in compliance. So I just want to send out a thanks to the commission and also to the people that work at our plant.
Thank you, Uda. All right. We are on action item number 5, which is mine. We have a motion for the Grosse Township Board that the Grosse Township Board hereby authorizes the distribution of an RFP for realtor services for the disposal of to be determined township vacant parcels.
Second?
You and Derek, I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, within this year's budget, we had budgeted the disposal of a number of township properties that are going to be determined to be surplus. So we have in inventory of all the township properties. There's a number of parcels that have limited use to the township as far as future utility easements or infrastructure work or parks and rec or anything along those lines. In order to properly dispose of those and try to get the best dollar value and also offer the greatest group of individuals to have access to those properties, in talking with the supervisor, feel it's the best for us to bring in a professional to go ahead and assist with those services. So the intent in this action item is to go out and solicit proposals for an individual or that brokerage company to assist in that purpose. Part of that work will be to take a look at these properties and see whether they have value, whether they're for residential or whether they're better off holding on to, and then move forward with the disposal of the parcels. We're not talking about a ton of properties here, maybe a handful, dozen or so, and the board will be involved in that conversation as well as far as what the parcels are and what we're looking at. Keep in mind, these are not open space properties. These are properties that are owned by the township, not owned through the open space program or purchased through the open space program. The majority of the properties that we do own are open space properties. So there's very few parcels that we're really discussing within what we're going to be having this realtor, this brokerage company take a look at. So.
One of the other reasons we're doing this is we may not be putting them all up for sale at the same time, and we didn't want to go through this every time we had a sale. We thought it'd be smarter for the township to have somebody, thus the RFP, and then if we have someone within the township, department within the township has something for sale, we have a realtor, we don't have to go through this time and again.
The advertisements for this will go through the publication of record. We'll also get a hold of the Downriver Association of Realtors and make sure that they have that information about this being out there. Obviously, as always, we'll have it on our website and Facebook and whatnot. We try to shy away in this situation from direct contact with specific realtor firms because Lord knows we can't get a hold of everybody downriver, and in the interest of making sure that we're not being biased in any way or showing favoritism, where we only call 5 or 6 of them or something along those lines, we try to put it out to the public in a general advertisement so that they all have an equal opportunity to have a chance at this.
What is the publication of record?
The News Herald.
Other questions, comments? Hearing none, we have a motion that the Grosse Township Board hereby authorizes the distribution of an RFP for realtor services for the disposal of to be determined township vacant parcels. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will go get our realtor. And I don't know if this was said, but this is going to be a 1 year.
Correct. And yep.
I thought that was in the
I think
actual
it's in the
RFP.
RFQ, yep.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Ms. O'Connor.
It's delightful to be a co-star in the David Nadeau show. Get third billing here. I would like to make a motion to recommend to the Township Board the approval to hire Mr. Tyler Blackman as an officer with the Grosse Township Police Department effective June 6, 2022.
Support.
So I am serving as the interim liaison to the Police Commission, and the Police Commission had a meeting last Tuesday, and in subsequent meetings with the chief, they've made this explanation. The commission voted unanimously to hire the last officer on their eligibility list that was compiled, and that will expire. And they will be building a new eligibility list moving forward. But we've been informed of a forthcoming retirement in October of 2022. And so in order to be prepared for this retirement, they would like to start by hiring the last officer off this list so that he can be up and running at the time of the retirement. Mr. Blackman actually lives in the Downriver area. He's had interviews with the commission and with the administration, successful interviews. He is currently working with Detroit Police. He went to Airport High School in Carlton, Michigan, and went to Eastern Michigan University. And he did graduate from the Police Academy and has his, I'm sorry, I have to look this up, MCOLES, MCOLES certification. And so he will be starting at 80% of a patrol officer's wages as per the current union contract, and he will have a 1-year probationary period. If the board approves this motion, his start date will be June 6th, 2022. And finally, Chief Carmack and the lieutenant and deputy chief have all been in conversations with both Derek, Township Manager, Finance Director Darsnick, and they are assured that the budget can accommodate this 3 months of having the 24th officer on duty. So that is the motion. If you have any further questions, Derek is here.
Anyone have any comment or question?
Maybe next month, do you think, would he be able to, Doug, bring him here so we can put a name to a face? Sure. Can you ask Doug that? Would that be all right?
Yeah, obviously, he didn't want to do that before we actually did the vote, so that had the potential of being awkward. So he will be coming. And I think Chief Carmack will also, in time, be introducing some of the other dispatchers and making sure that the community puts a face to the names
and a
of
name.
the people who
Face
yes,
and a
face
name.
and a name to the people who serve us. So,
Anything else? Hearing nothing, we have a motion to recommendation that the Township Board approve the hire of Mr. Tyler Blackman as an officer with the Grosse Township Police Department effective June 6th, 2022. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Welcome aboard, Mr. Officer Blackman. Almost there, and it's only fitting that we end our action items with something from Dave.
Thank you again. Based on the recommendation of the Community Recreation Commission, the Township Board would award the Centennial Farm fence bid to Veterans Fence in the amount of $101,719.50.
Second?
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. These are the fences as you drive into the Centennial Farm and make the turn to the left. These are on the north side of Centennial Farm. And it's all those, it's three large paddocks where all the, those were determined to be in the worst condition. And
Would you like us to put the schematic up on Nemo or?
I don't think we have
Elmo.
to. It's the north side paddocks are the most visible, I think, when people come in to see the farm. Veterans Fence was the low bidder. We received 3 bids, and The other, right now, this is phase one. Hopefully, we'll be able to come back in 2023 with phase two. And this has been a long time coming, and I know that the Recreation Department has gone to great efforts to save up, if you will, the ability to spruce up Centennial Farm with the installation of new fencing. These will not be wood. They're a composite material. Will hold up to horses. They will hold up to weather. And the need for ongoing maintenance is greatly reduced.
I'm presuming it's not palatable to horses like the wooden fencing.
That is correct.
I thought that was a very good plan.
And phase two will be scheduled for next year.
Yes.
It's been a long time since anything like this was done at Centennial Farm. I think there was an extensive painting and replacement project of wooden fencing, I want to say maybe 10 years ago. But I don't think we've ever, in all my experience, have we done a major project like this. So I think it's well due and well considered.
Yeah, if
Baker,
you,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that Ms. O'Farrell has tried diligently and very hard to accumulate these funds without jeopardizing any of the other recreation programs to be able to get this accomplished. Because the farm, even though it's operated as a horse farm, there are other township resident events that take place at the farm. There's a playground there, a dog park, the animal shelter is there. So there are it's important for the community to see that we're keeping it up in good repair.
And I also like it that Veterans is saying they will dispose of the existing materials in a lawful manner, because
Yes.
we don't want to see it end up in our open space, or at dump the junk.
I was going to say, save it for dump the junk. No, we don't want that. Yeah, it is. It's and it through no fault of Kim or the current commission.
No.
These fences are long overdue, and they're taking care of it. So thank you, Kim, Chad. Anything else? Hearing nothing, we have a motion based upon the recommendation of the Community Recreation Commission to award the Centennial Farm fence bid to Veterans Fence in the amount of $101,000, $101,719.50. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're going to get some new fences down there. Thank you.
Kim, you can order them tomorrow.
Kim, I'm surprised you're not on your phone right now ordering them. Thank you. Thank you, David, for your David show. Now we have the reports, starting with Clerk O'Connor.
All right, fasten your seatbelts. It's election season. Not just millages, but everything else on the ballot. The clerk's office is, of course, busy and pulling all the things together, pulling staff together. Brian, are we still recruiting, or do you have a full complement?
I'm a little bit short, so.
So if you're interested in working the election as a poll inspector, as receiving board, we do all-day shifts, we do part-time shifts, we have an absentee counting board, we have precinct locations. We will spoil you with all the bad coffee, all the coffee, donuts, and pizza that you can eat, and camaraderie, and know that you're playing an important role in our democracy. Now, something else that has come up in the last couple of days, if you will, as we mentioned at our last board meeting, Brian and Elena have mailed out the new voter ID cards. And inevitably, some of those arrive at a house where that voter no longer lives, or may have deceased, or for whatever reason, the voter that goes with that card does not live at that residence. If that happens, if you received a voter ID card for someone who does not live in your residence, please bring them back to the Township Hall and to the clerk staff. And for the life of me, I can't remember now the word of the process, but there is a process we go to for ultimately removing a voter from the voter rules. They have a certain amount of time to respond. Where are you? Here's, we have your card. Have you moved? Those kind of things. And that process starts when you return that voter ID card to Township Hall. Brian wanted me to make sure you knew that the clerk's office is going to be sending out applications for the absentee ballots, probably by the end of May, early June, so in the next week or so. And then the ballots will be available in our office for you to come pick up if you apply for an absent voter ballot around June 23rd. And then, Brian, if you wanted to talk, Brian and Elena came up with an idea to generate a kind of township newsletter coming out of the clerk's office. And it got a good response from the board when he sent out an email. And I thought it might be nice if he would give us a short explanation.
Yeah, and just quickly on the ID cards, one of the reasons we want them back is that we can start a cancellation countdown on those voters. The one thing about the ID cards, every 10 years, it's basically our opportunity to clean up our voting rolls of anyone who's moved away or passed away, and we've never been notified of it. So once we get those back, we can put them on the countdown. It takes 2 general elections if that voter does not respond or vote in those elections, they will be canceled at that point. So it is a process. But if we don't get the cards back, we can't start that process. So that's the biggest thing for us. As for the newsletter, we're going to start a newsletter in July. We've asked each department to provide us with information for that newsletter. The goal is to do it on a monthly basis, but if we find that we just don't have enough content, then we will scale that back depending on how it goes. We will send out via email through Code Red to those people who follow the clerk's office. And then we'll also put it on all social media accounts and our website each month for everyone to see. Let's see if I missed anything there. No, I think I got everything. So.
Thanks, Brian. So at the same time, I just want to conclude with I'm the liaison to the Fire Commission, and we also met last week. We met on Wednesday. We had to change our meeting date in order to achieve a quorum. And just to give everyone a heads up, the commission voted to approach the board with a recommendation to put a millage in support of fire operations ballot language on the November ballot, and so that will also have to be approved at our June meeting, and so that information will be coming to supervisor and admin soon. I mean, they knew about it, but the concern is that a new concern has arisen that the state has put out a new mandate for training of volunteer firefighters. And in order for us to meet those requirements, we're going to have to adjust our budget to find those funds. And so I think Chief Beaudry will be working with you. We'll be looking into the COVID monies. We'll be looking in different places where obviously it's going to be important that all our volunteers are trained and meet these unfunded mandates, as you pointed out. Which hit the chief kind of by surprise when he went to a downriver chiefs meeting the day of our meeting. And right? So it kind of came out of the blue there. So just giving everyone a heads up on what's coming down the pike there. On the upside, though, although they're working very hard, our volunteers are committed as ever to doing a great job for the island, and want to thank them again for their dedication and just their hard effort on our behalf. So they're 24/7. They as they pointed out at our meeting, they don't really get holidays off, but they also signed up for it. They know, but they should know they're appreciated. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Uda.
Thank you. For the month of April, Grosse Township had a total of $12,728,000 invested in various accounts, and these accounts generated a total of $3,112 in investment interest at an average interest rate of 0.186%. And the April investment report can be viewed on the Treasurer's section at grosse.com. Finance Director and the Finance Office are still compiling data and closing the fiscal year end in preparation of the audit, which will be conducted a little later this summer. And as always, if you are delinquent in your property taxes or think you may be, you can contact Wayne County Treasurer's Office at 313-224-5990 to get information on any taxes that you may owe. The next DPS Commission meeting is June 14th at 7 o'clock in this room. And the next meeting of the Community Recreation Commission is June 2nd at 6 o'clock in this room. And another reminder to the community that Island Fest is scheduled for 2 weekends, June 3rd through June 5th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, David. Trustees reports. Mr. Bletch.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I have the privilege of sitting on two commissions. The first one reporting tonight is going to be Greenways Open Space. As Mrs. Walker indicated, we had dumped the junk last Saturday. It was steady. We had traffic from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m., filled 14 30-yard dumpsters. It rained at 10 o'clock, and the sun came out and burned us all for the rest of the day. But it was very well attended. A lot of people came out with materials that we feel may have otherwise ended in open space. And the good news is that Bill Stevenson works very hard on this, and many of us know him from the Grosse schools. Bill was able to reach out and get a hold of Cass Community. It is a group that Reverend Sue brought her box truck down. It is a group that does an outreach program. And instead of this year disposing of items that were needed by people that are looking for assistance, need assistance, and we loaded up beds, no mattresses, just the bed frames, bookcases, and a lot of other furniture that she has taken down and they are going to use and distribute, as opposed to just simply scraping them up and throwing them into the dumpster. So it was really good. It was a great response. A lot of people were happy. As Kathy noted, it just was a great event. We had about 15 volunteers there, and it is something that is not only beneficial to this community, but it's reaching out and making a difference for other people. It's the first time we've been able to get a group to come out, and we're looking at September of having another event, which hopefully will include Habitat for Humanity from Monroe, that they can use some of the things that we weren't able to salvage. As an example, there was a vanity that looked to me like on the retail market it was around $1,100-$1,200 with a long top on it, and that wound up in the dumpster. If we could take something like that to Habitat for Humanity and help them build. They also typically have a store that allows them to sell. It's just a win-win. So we're working on trying to make this a better event for everybody, not only for Grosse, but for the community at large. The second commission I have the privilege of sitting on is Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory. And This is a very important announcement. We have received confirmation of a grant for approximately $45,000 from the Ralph Wilson Fund. You'll recall that Ralph Wilson was an insurance company owner, lived in the Grosse Points, wound up buying the Buffalo Bills, specified in his will that when he passed, the team would be sold and a trust fund created to disperse the funds for public use. There's 3 different sections of the fund that are applicable. We are filed a grant application with great assistance from Derek Thiel. Grant writing is something that he does very, very well, and it resulted, our application was for the maximum amount of $50,000, and we've been told we're going to be receiving $45,000 or something like that in that ballpark. The final number hasn't come out, but it does appear to be $45,000. We are looking at using that money, and that's what the application was for, to extend a trail from Grosse Road to Gibraltar Bay access along East River. So we would be taking the maintenance road, keeping it as a soft trail, essentially installing a fence so that we have some separation with the airport as the FAA requires. And that $45,000 will help us with 3,000 feet of fencing, and that is from a grant. One special portion of that announcement, equally as important, a little more somber, is that we have a family on the island here that did a GoFundMe page with the idea of creating a memorial in memoriam to their child who recently passed away. She was young, she loved to ride her bike, she loved the community, and they have some GoFundMe money that will make that project possible. So when we have matching funds from the Ralph Wilson, and they have indicated a very great interest in putting together a package that will allow this trail to be possible, and they want to include a plaque recognizing their contribution, their daughter's contribution, and the very next step is to go ahead and have a meeting this Thursday night. I've invited the airport manager, I've invited the airport liaison, Mr. Porcerelli, as well as the airport or the township manager, the head of the conservancy, as well as a BPAC, and we're hoping to be able to put together a project, a bid packet this week, and then we can start getting the final costs on that. A previous bid has indicated that it would cost us somewhere around $69,000 to do the work that we want to do, and we're really excited about that. Another great win-win for the community, and we very much appreciate the family's contribution and the idea that they want to help push this project forward. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Carl. Joe?
Good evening. I sit on the Airport Commerce Park Commission, and the meetings are third Mondays, 6 p.m. in this room, and I have no formal report, but I have a couple things I'd just like to say in my report tonight. As you are aware, Mr. Jarecki retired from the Township Board, and I just want to thank Mike for all that he's done. I can recall when Mike and I went out to dinner and decided we wanted to run. We wanted to make a change. We weren't happy with what we saw, and that's what you do. You run. And, Mike, I just want to say that you've never wavered from what you believed. You put your feet in the sand, and you never changed. We made a pact, and that pact was we were going to do what was best for Grosse Hill, and we were going to keep our standards high. And you always did. Your integrity level was unbelievable. It never changed. And I'm going to miss you, and I know Grosse Hill is going to miss you. And I have one more thing to say is last week a gentleman from a retired police officer, his name's Bill Ferguson. I'm not sure. Some of you probably know him, but he did pass away last week. He was 87. He retired in 92. And at that time, the position he had was second in charge of the police department. Bill was a great guy. He was my sergeant for a while, and talk about a man of integrity, honest and straight, and taught you correctly. And he never wavered. It's funny, He never changed all through his years. He's just a great man. He was a great father, great husband. I kept in contact with him, and I'm sorry to say, an awful disease took him. So, Bill, we're going to miss you also, and that's it for tonight, Jim.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Township Attorney, Mr. Assorti, what do you have?
Mr. Supervisors and members of the board, just to go over a couple quick things, because I know, we're all appearing in person now for meetings, and things seem to be progressing a little bit, in our society as far as interaction with others, those types of things. But unfortunately for us, Wayne County Circuit Court, where we have actually, the township has a couple things pending right now, we're seeing a tremendous backlog, and others out in the public that may know about it. Some hearings, there are some hearings that are being held in person. They are conducting trials only on a very limited basis. The rest of the standard meetings, conferences, motion call, those types of things are still being conducted via Zoom. To get over there during the day, the courtrooms are pretty much empty, those types of things. So you can imagine with all the things going on in Wayne County that things are backlogged. So just to give you an idea that that's there. 33rd District Court, we're doing a lot better. We still are doing they are conducting trials in person. Fortunately, we haven't had any yet, and we don't need to have any. But we're doing the so on regular prosecutions day, which is twice a month, I'm there as the prosecutor for the township, and our department reps are there as well. All the other communities have their representatives there as well, and the judges are there. And it seems to be moving rather quickly, and I'd be quite surprised if there isn't some sort of hybrid use of that process going forward. As backlog as that would get on a morning to process all the communities' traffic tickets and misdemeanor violations through, it seems to be working a lot better on Zoom. I think because the court can have a little control, and you're not waiting for people out in the hall, that type of thing. But I just wanted to give you an update of where we are with some of the court proceedings. It's great that we're all here, but downtown's still a little behind. So anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Managers report.
Just a couple items this evening. First, the bridge on Grosse Road, the pedestrian bridge, is finished. They finished that up today. That was actually funded through the first Ralph Wilson grant that we received, I believe, the end of last calendar year or thereabouts. So that's open for residents to use. Just as a reminder, that was done in Trex type material. So hopefully that lasts a long period of time, as well as the staining on the Meridian Road pedestrian bridge that was completed underneath that Ralph Wilson grant as well. And both those projects are done, and we'll be invoicing those down against the grant to make sure that we get reimbursed. Dump the junk, just to follow along with Trustee Bletcher's comments. Really, the only reason that works well is because of the volunteerism that occurs on that day, and also the hard work of the employees that assist on that Saturday to help out with the event. So special thanks to everybody that was a part of that, because it really was a good event. I think it's been heard tonight by a number of people, and it's for a good reason. That was a very good event and a good service for the residents. Township Hall will be closed next Monday because of the holiday, and in Mr. Yeager's absence, ZBA is meeting tomorrow, and there are 3 cases tomorrow evening that will be considered. So anybody that's interested, that will be here tomorrow night. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. I have just a couple of things. As usual, we have openings on various commissions. In fact, we just filled the position on DPS today, but we have other openings available. So I would encourage you to go to our website and look for the various committees that have openings, and please put in your application if you so desire. Also, as Joe said, we had a trustee who left, so we have an opening on the board. And there is an advertisement on our website. If you're interested, to put in an application. Applications will be taken until May 31st. After that, the board will go through the applications and proceed from there. We do have a time limit for us to appoint this new trustee. I believe it is July 7th for us. And if we don't do it, then Wayne County gets involved. So we certainly will be doing that. So I would encourage you again, if you're interested in getting on the board, put in the application. Again, it's until May 31st. And that is all I have. So finally, we end with our public comment. 3 minutes on any topic, name and where you live, please. Do we have any? Can you see over there?
I don't see anybody over there.
All right. I don't know. Bill, are you just getting up or? Come on up. I thought maybe he had sat so long, he just needed to stretch his legs.
My name's Bill Heil. I live on East River Road.
Is your mic on, Bill?
The green light is on.
Okay,
'Cause we had trouble with that before.
okay.
I'm very happy to hear about finding another police officer, Mr. Blackman, Tyler Blackman, I think is his name. And I'm asking, does that mean we can have three shifts? Is that what that will make possible?
Debating what to do with that, let's put it that way.
Because it meant a lot to people. There's been a lot of comment about that. And if a way can be found to make that happen, I think a lot of community members will give you an attaboy for that. We're not sure of that, as I understand you right now.
We have things going on that have to be taken care of to decide how that's going to be.
I've got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Anyone else? Mr. Bob.
Bob Z. Blauvelt. Board approved a lot of very important action items tonight that are going to benefit the township. Good job. The one on the police officer, as Mr. Heil said, I also am very happy to hear that. That'll bring us up to the 24. How our management team decides to address our road patrol is up to them, but I hope they'll be successful. I guess it would be safe to say you almost have to live on a dirt road to understand how important dust control is. It's so nice to be able to open your windows at night. It's so nice to be able to sit on your rear deck and entertain. It's so nice to not have to wash your windows down once a week. I could go on and on and on. I'd like to thank Mr. Kostick, Derek Thiel, John Keim, David, the commission and the board for addressing the dust control. It's so very important. All the issues that I mentioned are important, but the most important thing is you addressed public health. And that's very important, and thank you for taking that on. In the clerk's report, it was informational, but I didn't hear anything about when the absentee ballots are going to come out. Is that safe to ask right now?
Yeah.
Oh, we did? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Applications go out the end of May, beginning of June. We have our now I'm drawing a blank.
So for August,
ballots will go out. They have to be available in our office by June 23rd.
a June 23rd for the August
Correct.
and for the November?
I don't have that on me.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I also would like to endorse Mr. Porcerelli's comments on Mike Jarecki. Mike, if you're watching out there, thank you. You did a great job. You were instrumental in a lot of things that took place on this board, and I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else? Not seeing anyone?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.